Well, thank you so much, Chair. And as always, all my questions go through the Chair. I guess my first question is, I did read the proposal package as a person who ran a nonprofit for many years. I'm very well versed with these. I didn't see anything in here about the process that was going to happen in terms of consultation through an online survey. It actually says in here the jury will have overall responsibility for selecting the winning design based on the combined scores of the jury and technical committee evaluations. So I'm just asking for clarity. Was there anything in here that I somehow missed? And if there isn't anything in this proposal process that was outlined for all the people who submitted, how was that decided upon, that there would be an online survey?
Thank you so much for that question, Ms. Blaney. I wasn't there during that process, so I'm going to turn to my officials so perhaps they could provide you with a bit of the details regarding the process.
If I could, Mr. Chair, what I'd say in response is the context of the engagement around the monument. Right from the outset, the announcement of the monument was to consult with, to engage veterans to get their perspective. First, there was a visioning exercise in 2014 about what the monument should represent. There was engagement around the location of the monument with the views of veterans winning the day and the choice being to place it at LeBreton Flats. There was views about an engagement around what themes should underline the monument, all of which was fed into to those who were coming forward to apply for this and to put forward submissions. So right from the outset, the engagement with veterans and the understanding of the importance of the perspective of veterans, especially those who served in Afghanistan, both in uniform and in civil society, was paramount.
So my next question then is, I understand there was an online survey and I see the results of the online survey. I'm wondering, how was information verified? So I heard earlier the minister talking about places where the survey was advertised to ask people to participate, but how was their information verified? How do we know that these were actually Afghan veterans, Afghan service people who were from the civilian side, and folks that were related to Afghan veterans? How was that verified through the process? Because what I'm hearing through the chair, of course, is that it represents Afghan veterans' opinion. I'm just not clear on how that was verified so that we know that, in fact, that is what we're looking at right now.
So the individuals who responded were asked to self-identify and indicate their representation, their history, and their connection. All of those that were connected through the department, as the ministers indicated, were through networks that we already have established with veterans. And they were invited to come forward. It was very, very important to hear from the veteran community about this. They were asked to self-identify and to indicate that. It's our experience that veterans seldom misrepresent their service. And they're very, very faithful about that representation.
Well, I have absolute faith in veterans. I don't know if I have the same faith in every other person in the world, but I do have faith in the veterans. So when you say that they were self-identifying, what does that mean? Was there a section in the survey where they just said, this is who I am? Was there any link to people being able to identify so that it could be verified on the other end?
And I'll ask my colleague Amy to address that.
Thank you. They had an option to choose from, whether they were a veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces, a family member of someone who participated in the Afghanistan mission, an individual who participated in the Afghanistan mission, a member of the police. So they had some options to choose from, one of those selections. And I did not undertake the survey myself, but it was self-reporting, as the deputy mentioned.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that answer. So I'm also very curious about how the jury was included in this, because I mean, sadly, this does seem very confusing. And I've heard again and again that this was a political decision. And that really is heartbreaking to me. You know, we're doing our study on women veterans. We're hearing about how utterly invisible they feel. I think that their experience is one that should concern us all. And I would hate to be doing to Afghan veterans what has been done for so long to women veterans. So I'm just, if you could explain why it wasn't in the proposal outline that this was going to be included, and was the jury aware of this consultation process, and how were they included in deciding the best way to get the information?
Again, not having been there during the process of all of this, myself and my colleague are 3 months here, and of course it's our responsibility to make sure that we can answer your questions. I'm going to still, however, pass it on to my deputy, as I'm not the process per se. I want to make sure that we get that right. But the only comment that I am going to make, making sure that we listen to the opinions of the majority of the veterans that have answered this survey, to me, was a top priority. Minister McCauley was here at the time, but again, I really stand by the decision that was made by Minister McCauley. I think that you can't go wrong when you're listening to the veterans, the opinions of the veterans. And when individuals tell me that when they see the concept that was designed, that was selected, that for them it represents the sacrifice, the loss of the mission, says a lot. And that is really why we chose this concept as opposed to le concept d'AO. But Paul, if you wanted to perhaps...
Sorry.